Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
Do it now. Check out the podcast below in the description as well.
All right, John. Jimmy Garoppolo against the Rams was better than he was against the Dolphins. Was obviously good enough to win the game they did, but still was not back anywhere close to being the guy that you and I have kind of bet on for week after week after week for a couple of seasons now.
You know, what was funny is they were up 21. They're up
6.
21-9. Or 21-6.5 or 21-9.
6.5, and then the field goal came in the second half.
Okay, so they were up 21-6.5. His numbers at halftime, Guy, were 17-21, 3 touchdowns.
What was the yardage? Do you have the yardage there?
Yeah, it was like a little shade over 200, I think.
Okay.
It did not feel like that way. It felt every time he threw the ball that I was not confident the ball was going to hit the wide receiver on just the most basic level. Like when he released the ball, whoever he was throwing it to, if the guy was just standing with his hands out, I thought it was going to be either way left or way right, and the guy was going to have to adjust. And typically the guy did. Now, I understand he hit a couple big plays, right, on one where he gets credit when the little one where he bounces forward, you get credit for a forward pass. And the George Kittle play, which was his finest pass on 4th and 2, where he hits Kittle in stride, was incredible. Overall, though, I think Jimmy right now is a major liability. I find Jimmy, for a team that's now going to be, these next couple of weeks are going to be, they beat the Patriots. It's going to be very, very difficult. I think they can beat the Patriots with this version of Jimmy. But moving forward after that, they can't win a game. Like, for the first time, I really felt it. Like, because especially as the Rams, it felt like it was 21-9, but it was like, God, they're just a play away from being right in there. Kyle did not want Jimmy, especially in the second half, to really throw. And this gets back to the Super Bowl, which you and I defended him because, like, yeah, I didn't feel he was hiding him because I didn't look at Kyle that way. Because I was like, I just saw him the entire December and really probably the end of, like, Thanksgiving to the end of the season, let it rip. And he had to. So I wasn't even in that mindset. This year I've seen it. And this year I will not argue it. And, Guy, I saw it tonight. Yep. Kyle was terrified. I think I saw a coward tweet that was like, if this is how Shanahan's going to treat Jimmy, like, this thing's over. Like, I mean, just in terms of his long-term future here. And we've talked about that before. But clearly right now, Kyle, like, Collinsworth talked over and over about the ankles. Like, guys, we're watching him move around. He's not fucking hurt. He's just not playing very well. He's fine. He is completely healthy. Just as healthy as every other person on the field is playing. I can't take that. Just admit, Chris, it's okay to be like, you know what? Jimmy's off right now. Because he's like, I did some hits this week, and people were like, is Jimmy the long-term answer? It's like, Chris, he was just benched at halftime last week. Like, that happened. And I thought tonight, his numbers, I think the overall was like 23 of 33 for 260 or whatever. 3 touchdowns came in the first half. But he makes me nervous, man. When I watch him, I am not comfortable.
Well, I think one thing for sure is like the game that he had last year against the Saints. Doesn't feel like he has that in him right now. Now, he had it in him. I saw it happen last year, right? Does he need to have that game against the Packers this year? Because remember, we didn't have to have it.
To me, though, you're like jumping to, like, that's like a gold medal performance. I'd even go just
of course. I'm just saying that's why we were so high on him, was games like that. He had multiple games where you went, okay, that Saints game, like, that was him passing a checkpoint. It's like, look what I can do in a big moment. The irony is, the game he's going to need that in this year is coming up against the Packers in all likelihood, and he didn't need that game either time they played the Packers. They kicked the Packers' ass last year. Right?
What about Seattle? Like, Seattle's in a couple weeks. He's going to need. But I'd even say, like, like the Rams game on Saturday night, or the Seattle game to end the season where he was like 17-22, but it was just letting balls rip. Like, I just don't think Jimmy has like a game where the way he's playing right now, where you just went, you know what, Jimmy carried us in the second half. And it might just be because Kyle won't let him.
Well, to me, it's not. Yeah, I wasn't pointing that game out, the Saints game, to say that's his next level. But you're right. There is clearly forget about carry. Just can you be on target if I get a guy open 3rd and 8. If I get Kittle just open right there, are you going to hit him? We don't know. It feels
Was that the
like
first play? Was that like the second play of the game where Kittle was wide open and he fucking threw like a laser behind him and Kittle had to like lay out and almost
I
got
thought
picked?
it was going to be a pick.
Oh my God.
He's never been, I don't think, like a high percentage spiral guy relative to most starting quarterbacks, but it feels like his spiral percentage is lower right now. There's a lot going on, it seems like, when he's holding the football in the pocket. Give him credit. He did make a lot of plays where he was looking and tapping his feet. And you're like, what's he about to do? And in those situations, it felt like he made good decisions and good throws. He didn't really make – I know he didn't throw a lot of balls down the field Sunday night, but he didn't really make one of those brain fart throws where you go, wait, what was that? Did he? Do you remember?
Well, I know he was pressured a little bit, but – the airmail on use checks.
Well, that's just a bad throw. I'm just saying, did he make any throws where you're like, why were you? Because it feels like when
the one in the corner that Trent Taylor I think had to like make the play. Yeah,
I have to look. I thought that was just a bad throw, not a bad decision. Maybe it was a bad decision though, but.
Yeah, because he's pretty covered and it's way inside. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like hit a guy in stride. That was probably
throw a lollipop into double coverage. Right now, part of this is they're playing with the lead.
Kyle wasn't really letting him throw, so he didn't have that many opportunities.
There's no doubt. But you're right. I think part of this with him is like, can they make the playoffs? Forget about how he played tonight. Just can they make the playoffs with the game they played against the Rams, with just short passes, a ton of running, kind of making a bunch of plays on defense?
No chance. They're not good enough. A huge reason they took advantage of their opponent, and part of it was good defense. Goff was terrible. To me, to make the playoffs, there are going to be games where the other quarterback's just on. Look who, like, you listen to those names. Rodgers, you play Russell twice. You still got another game against Kyler. You got Josh Allen. I mean, we're recording this before we see the Red Rifle get a legit start, but like we all know the Cowboys have a bunch of weapons. You are going to need to have Jimmy, to me, to make the playoffs, have a couple like 320-yard games where you just feel like that was a Pro Bowl level guy. I think the Pro Bowl is not – I'm not saying he's going to the Pro Bowl. Zero chance. He's not a Pro Bowl level guy, but he's going to need some of those games. I told you this before that we press record. When I watch Jimmy play – I'm going to equate this. Most people listening know when they get over, if you ever just play golf and you get over a golf shot, most of the shots, especially one that's hard, maybe one above your feet, below your feet, a distance you don't have the right club for, you go, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen with this ball.
Or just when you're bad. When you're right there are times you're just in a slump on the golf course.
You just hit the ball poorly. You stand over the golf ball and you know what you want to do, but deep down you know, like, I have no control once I swing where this thing's going to go. I just hope it goes in the vicinity up by the green or whatever. But a lot of times you shank it or, you hook it into the trees or slice it into the bunker or do whatever. I feel like him right now going back, he has lost all of his confidence. And we saw it last year to begin the season because in the training camp, the Denver preseason game, and it just spiraled kind of weird. And the season started weird, but he had little moments, but he didn't really, his confidence was off. And then finally he just like turned a corner. I'm watching a guy right now that I refuse to buy the injury stuff because I think he's out there. Everyone in the league's a little banged up. Like, to me, he's more than healthy. It's just, I think he's questioning like where the ball's going to go and just his accuracy. Like anyone just throwing a football, like it's, what he's asked to do is really difficult. That's why he gets all this money. I don't think he's that confident in his accuracy right now, guy.
Look, I think it's mostly that. I don't refuse to buy the injury. I think, first of all, Collinsworth is probably just repeating everything he's been told in a meeting. I don't refuse to buy the injury per se because I know high ankle sprain doesn't just go away one day. So maybe it's a part of what's going on with him. But with or without it, he's good enough to be on the field immediately Monday after the Dolphins game. He should be better than this. Maybe it's part of what's going on with his confidence. Although, remember, again, before he got hurt, it was like not the Jimmy that was at his best last year either, right?
Remember the Cardinal game? He didn't look great.
Yeah, he didn't look great in that game. So it's I'm with you. It's not about the ankle, even if the ankle is something going on, which it might be. But that doesn't feel like what this is about.
And what's a go-to argument Definitely with a younger guy like a Darnold, you just be like, and it's fair. Like he's not playing with, who's he throwing to, right? But then there's like the established guys like Wentz or Carr when they have a bunch of injuries, and it goes, well, look who he's playing with last year, or Wentz, like he's throwing to Greg Ward Jr. At the end, like Ertz is gone and Fulgham's in there. You're like, yeah, that does have some validity, but when I just watch you throw a pass, if you airmail a guy by like 15 feet. Or just like there is an eye test portion to this. And I think when I'm watching Jimmy, and I think most people listening would agree, the eye test right now, it's a little bit of a roller coaster in a way that you go, this win was huge. And I give nothing but credit for Kyle. But deep down, Kyle knows, like, it's going to be, like, it's going to be very difficult to beat some of these teams when we have a limitation at quarterback. I have to be able to call pass plays because I guess my overall take on those other guys with the injuries and like with their wide receiving course. No, he goes, Debo's sweet, Ayuk's sweet, Kendrick Bourne. I text a buddy in the league. I'm like, bro, if you got a little money, I'd pay him as your third wide receiver. Kittle's the best tight end in the league. I mean, they got just random running backs that can produce. Like he's got the weapons.
And Mostert's not, and he's got Mostert, right?
Mostert's a stud when he's in there.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I don't think
this is why, but it's also like why you pay Kyle Shanahan. Like he's a coach, and you gotta. Part of coaching is not just drawing up plays; it's motivating, it's finding a way to get on the same page, it's figuring things out, it's growing with the player. Like at the end of the day, whether Jimmy's here for years or this is his last go around, they are living in this season, and they want to get the best out of Jimmy Garoppolo. Right. They got to figure that out.
But
Kyle specifically, like this is Kyle's baby, the offense, right?
Yeah, and he did it today, though. That's the thing is he found a way to do it today. But is Mostert back, or does he now have an ankle too? Right.
I do think it's fair right now to say with Raheem Mostert, who is really good. I mean, I was thinking this when watching the game that I was like, you know what's crazy? Last year at the same time, I couldn't even really pronounce his name. I didn't quite know who he was.
Somebody tweeted that at us.
And now I'm watching him tonight, and I'm going, is this guy like top 5 player on the team right now? He's really good.
Yes.
But I saw someone else tweet this, and like I think one thing you see with guys, he became like coming into the season the starting running back. Like he was going to be the starting running back, and he deserved that. Not everyone's built to do that. And in the sense, like most humans are not. You take a pounding, right? You're just getting tackled a lot. A lot of your runs, even with Kyle Shanahan, who schemes these wide open lanes, sometimes they're not there, and you're just going to run into dudes full speed. It's a painful position. This is like his third injury, guy. In like
every carry is like downhill, right?
He's running his because he can't. Here's the thing with the zone runners, and he's an ideal zone runner. They can't make you miss. There's no wiggle. It's just north and south, which is what the Shanahans love. Look at McVay's guys; they're all just go down and go.
Yep.
Which is easy to be like, call another run. The running back's got to be like, Jesus Christ, can't feel my knee, my elbow,
you know what's
funny
is I felt it in the first half watching him. I think he had 16 of his. I think he had one. Did he have 1 or 2 carries in the second half to start that drive? I thought it was.
I think it was just the one, and they yanked him. Yeah, he was running his ass off, guy. Yep. He was Jimmy's best friend.
Hey,
I'd say
did I text you this or did I?
With him and Kittle, you can really mask Jimmy, right? Because Kittle just goes right in front of him, and you can hand it to Mostert. And then luckily they're 2 wide receivers. Maybe this is just par for the course when you join the Niners. You just gotta love end arounds. This is part of the deal. But you and I watch a lot of football. I feel like the Niners run end arounds, like actually give it. Like that's like one of their go-to play. Even McVay, like it's just part of the Shanahan playbook. The end around. That cool little one they ran to Robert Woods, like where they gave it to him inside.
Yeah, but doesn't it feel like Deebo Samuel is one of the bigger players in the league that can? I mean, like other guys, Kittle runs them for crying out loud. Claypool ran one today. I mean, I'm not saying that bigger receivers don't run them, but it feels like Deebo.
You wouldn't give it to like Julio or something.
Feels like Deebo's one of the bigger receivers in the league that consistently runs that play as effectively as he runs it. I was just gonna say, I don't know if mybookie.ag has the line, but if I told you you could prop bet every week, will the first play of the Niner game be a toss to Raheem Mostert? What do you think the line on that would be? Like minus 3,500?
It'd be pretty high. It'd be pretty high. I just think overall, moving forward, where he wasn't last year at this point in time, right? Like last year at this point in time, now granted they hadn't lost, I don't think Jimmy was viewed as like this liability. Right now, I think he's just the average Niner fan you run into tomorrow.
Yep.
Fired up, got a big win, but it's like, God, what's going on with the quarterback?
Part of it is, right, you just don't have the margin for error in 2020 that you had in 2019.
Well, this gets back to what I'm saying. Like, he's going to have to.
I understand.
He had to last year, right? In the Rams game, in the Saints game. How are those not inevitable? Would you just like, oh, the other quarterback's on a heater too? Like, can we just get into a little shootout?
Yeah.
I'm not talking Saints 48, 45.
I'm with you. If Goff was really good today.
Can you win a game 30-27?
If Goff was good today, Sunday night, he was going to
have been a problem.
It would have been a problem. Yep. But it wasn't. They won what they had to win.
True. Yeah,
he's got Belichick next week. Piece of cake.
Remember Belichick used to text him after every victory when he first traded him. Remember that was the story?
I don't like, if I'm the Niners, I don't love that the Patriots just lost to the Broncos at home.
I don't either. And I also think Belichick, like, what's he going to say about Jimmy Garoppolo Wednesday? It's going to be so over the top.
Oh, the love? Yeah.